Hey everyone, welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Ryan Selvey, and we are privileged enough to be joined by Aaron Nace today. We're going to be looking at some photography workflows, and we're really excited to get into it. Good morning, Aaron. How's it going?
Morning, Ryan. I am doing great. I'm super excited about today's class. We're going to be doing AI processes to make your life easier, and we're creating some amazing images along the way. So, we're actually going to be doing Photoshop today. We're going to be using Lightroom Classic, and we're going to be using Firefly Boards on the web to get a lot done.
Oh, that's great. And for anyone who is seeing you for the first time, do you want to just give a quick introduction of yourself as an artist?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Aaron Nace. I am a photographer and digital artist. I've been shooting since 2008, around there. In 2011, I created a Photoshop centric channel on YouTube called Flearn, like Photo Learn, Photoshop Learn. And I've been teaching Photoshop online ever since. So it's been an absolutely amazing ride. We've seen a lot of changes in Photoshop and to our industry throughout the time. When I first started, it was like the transition from film to digital, and now we're in an interesting transition into AI, and we're all kind of figuring that out together. So today we've got some new tools from you for you that we're going to be showing you the power of these new tools, and you can integrate them with your classic workflow as well. So just like we had to transition from film to digital, some people still shoot with film, and it's still very much relevant today.
Yep.
The traditional tools still apply for photo editing, but now we have new tools as well to offer.
It's always really interesting to see that too. And I'm gonna kind of go on a tangent while I go ahead and share your screen real
Yeah.
quick. But it's been really, really, I don't know, uplifting to see old mediums continue to always kind of exist as things go on. I mean, all my friends now have, you know, cameras that we have to go get things developed with film, and every single time we have like a
Yes.
party or something, everyone always has an old camera. I actually even just saw this new camera that's coming out. We're gonna be talking about it on File New right after this, but it's like
Cool.
it's they have like a generation a slider, and not like AI generation, but literally like decades, and they like are adding different filters to different things as you turn. So you're like, I want this to look like the 80s, and you like switch it back to the
Crazy.
80s. And then of
That's
course
actually
there's always like
brilliant.
vinyls and stuff. But yeah, to your
Yeah.
point, creative industry is always changing. There's always new tools. Exciting to learn the new ones and how they complement the old ones. And so excited to see what we get into today.
Me too. It's going to be so much fun. So we're starting off in Photoshop. Now, I have a beautiful image here. I just want to do a little bit of distraction removal. We have like a couple cars here in the background. There's some people in the background, and even like this street is just like not exactly picturesque. You know, these buildings are absolutely beautiful. So I want to change all this. Now, historically, this would take a long time to do in Photoshop. Totally doable, but it would probably be like the entire stream. Like literally, we'd be here for an hour just removing like the car and the people and things like that. But we're going
Yep.
to be using Generative Fill, and we're going to be using our new partner models. And honestly, they're very, very powerful. So let's go ahead and show you how to use it. Um, First time you're going to be using Generative Fill, always start with a selection. Now you can select part of your image, or you can select or you can select your entire image. Now, with Generative Fill, if you're going to be using the new partner models, this is going to be like Gemini 3, Nano Banana Pro, or Flux. If you're using those models, my suggestion is to grab your rectangular marquee tool here, and you're going to want to select like almost all of your image. Not all of your image, just like go right to the border. Just leave like a couple pixels around the edge.
Why
The
is that?
reason is, okay, so these new partner models, especially Nano Banana, basically they're really good at creating entire images. That's what they want to do. They're not as good at creating like certain, just small parts of an image and then fitting it into a grader. They're
Hmm.
designed for entire image generation. Now, Firefly is actually built so you can, let's say I wanted to add something right over here to my image. Like, let's say I wanted to add a frog hopping across the road, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could select just a small area of this image and then use Firefly to do that because Firefly is fantastic at just inserting an object into your photograph and matching the rest of the image.
Yep.
But the Google model is actually built to generate an entire photograph. So it's not as good at placing an individual object into your image. It's really best when you select your entire image. Now, sometimes if you just go to select all, your aspect ratio might be a little bit off. Again, because basically what's happening is the software is it's kind of taking a snapshot of your selection, it's sending it to Google. Google is redoing the image and then sending it back into Photoshop. So sometimes what happens if is your aspect ratio might get off, like it'll stretch your image a little bit if you just select your whole image. And what I found works the best is if you select almost your whole image, it tends to work best with these new models. It's just I'm sure like next year this won't even be an issue, but as of right now, it's to help with the aspect ratio. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
No,
Okay.
absolutely. And good to know that also, like, as with anything, there's going to be tips and tricks around getting the best results for anything. So, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very good to know.
And again, in 6 months, this might not even be an issue, but for right now, this is what I found works best. So we're selecting almost our entire image. Now I'm going to go over here to Generative Fill. This is in the contextual taskbar. So let's go ahead and click there. And here are models. Here we can choose Firefly Image 3 or Firefly Image 1. Now these models, again, if you just want to insert something into your photograph, if you want to do simple object removal, if you want to extend your crop, these models are amazing. But if you want to kind of reimagine your entire image, then you're going to want to use some of these other models like Flux 2 or Flux Context Pro. I really like Gemini 3 with Nano Banana Pro. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on this. Now, I do want to keep in mind that these other models will use more AI credits. So your generative credits for like Firefly, basically, if Firefly generates three different variations, which is the standard, you're going to be using 3 credits. However, Gemini 3 with Nano Banana Pro, this is actually going to use 40 credits per generation. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to show you guys how to check your credits in just a second. But we're going to be using Gemini 3 with Nano Banana Pro. Okay. Now, the thing that I kind of like about this is it says describe the changes you want to make. Basically, you talk to this like you would talk to a person. So I'm going to say like remove the cars and people in the background. All right. And then I'm going to say change the street. All right. To cobblestone and match the buildings. Okay.
Should you
So
put
that's a
like sweetie at the end of that or anything? Just to
sweetie.
like,
There we go. Match the building, sweetie. Please, pretty please, I love
please,
you.
thank you.
So what's kind of nice is you can talk to this like you would talk to a regular person. This is not, you don't have to have like a prompt engineering background. Like literally you would
Hmm.
just tell it to do what you would tell a person. And then we're going to click here on generate. So you can see this is going to generate with Nano Banana Pro. It's going to automatically open up our properties window, which is really nice. And then you'll see our variations. I don't know if you're able to move our like our
Oh, are we in
faces
the
here.
way?
So
Yeah, let's
yeah,
get
it's
out of
just
the
we can
way.
see the variations on the
There we
right
go.
hand side there. Okay, great. Awesome. So you'll see our variations are being made here. It's actually we're just seeing this in real time, but like look at that.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely amazing. It did a really
Gone.
good job. I mean, it just did literally the entire edit in one step, which
We
is
just did Grand Theft
incredible.
Auto live on stream.
We did. Yeah, cars are gone, people are gone, and the road is, a nice cobblestone road. Even the focus looks good. It's going from in focus here on the bottom to out of focus. It looks photorealistic. Looks fantastic. Now, here I can click on generate in my properties window if I wanted to get more variations. If there's something about this that I didn't like, I can click on generate and we'll get more and more variations, which is nice. But I do want to show you this icon here. This icon, okay, is our generative, it's our Gen AI icon. And this icon will tell you how many credits your different model uses. So I don't know, are you able to zoom into the screen at all, Ryan? Like just to
Let's
that
try. We're gonna see if we
part of
can
the
here.
screen recording, just so
Let's
people
see.
can read that a little bit more. If not, I have like a magnifier that I could use.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. This is gonna be a little choppy, but here we
Okay.
go. Look at this.
Okay,
Look at
cool. And
this. Here we go.
we'll stay here for a little while. Okay, let me hover over here. So you can see Gemini is going to use 40 credits per generation. Okay, this is for Nano Banana Pro. Can everyone read that? So as I click here on my model selector, I have different models that I can choose. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, it's off the screen right now, but I'm going to choose Gemini 2.5. Okay, and then I'm going to hover over this icon, and you can see it uses 10 credits per generation. Okay,
Right.
I'm
So
going to
that's literally a
choose
fourth of what we were looking at before, right?
Yep, exactly. We're going to choose Flux 2.0 Pro. So let's go ahead and click there, and then I'll hover over that same exact icon. Okay, and we're going to see this is using 20 credits per generation. So if you're ever curious how many credits you're actually going to be using for these AI tools, it does tell you right over here in your properties window. Now, to get to this, you just want to make sure you're on a generative layer. So any layer that has this, little sparkles here tells you you're on a generative layer. If you're on a generative layer, you can go into your properties window. Okay, you can change your model right over here. There we go. And as you choose your different models, you can see if I go to Firefly Image Model 3, for instance, it's going to go ahead and say, this is a standard generation feature. It uses 1 credit per generation. Okay, so this is a great, great tool to know. It's a little bit hidden, but this is how we keep track of how many credits we're actually using because it can be a little confusing. And for a while, I thought that Gemini 2.5 and then Gemini 3, I thought they used the same amount of credits, but that's actually not true at all.
Right. Right.
Like Gemini 2.5 uses 10 credits per generation. Okay. And then Gemini 3 is actually using 40 credits per generation.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So just a great way to check. It's right there inside of Photoshop. Really good feature to know how to use it.
Also, thank
Okay.
everyone
So
for. We are currently trying to get back to where we were with this
resizing the screen.
resizing. So thank you everyone for your patience, as I know this screen is dancing very insufferably right now. So sorry
Thanks for
everybody.
doing that, Ryan. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I'm glad it gives people a good idea. Also, I think it's a great call out because just being able to understand kind of the model of being able, well, not the image model, but the model of like credits and stuff, that whole system.
Yes.
I think it goes a long way, and it's always nice to know what is affecting the things that you're messing with. So thanks for calling that out. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good to know how many credits you're actually using, because we don't have an unlimited amount. This are
Yeah.
depending on your plan, you're going to get a certain amount. So,
Also,
so this looks,
in the chat, real quick, we do have Lisa
yeah.
Carney, who we love to see.
Hey,
Lisa
Lisa.
Carney is wonderful. Really great photo editor that we've had on the stream before. And she said that she didn't know that you could check the credit count there. So thank you. Becky wants to know if the model behaves better when you call it sweetie. Um, and also Marsha saying it's a great tip for the model to choose. If you guys have questions, comments, any of the above, we love to hear what you're
Yeah.
thinking and your response to stuff. We're live on both YouTube and Behance. The YouTube chat will be saved with the replay when you guys check out the replay. So by all means, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and I will relay it over to Aaron as we're working through stuff.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. So we're almost done with this. The one thing that I will mention is, let me just turn this Google, Nano Banana 3 image off and on, and it looks great. But what we want to keep in mind is it actually did regenerate the entire image. So even the woman is a new image. It looks like the same woman, and
Yeah.
the houses in the background, but it is actually a completely new photograph. And the resolution is not going to match the original photograph's resolution. It's going to be a lower resolution. So keep that in mind. But one thing that I do kind of like to do sometimes is, like, you can see, for instance, my subject here, right? If I start to zoom in, you can really, the buildings in the background, you can't tell as much. But if I
Yeah.
make this layer invisible, you can start to see, especially, I'll just zoom in more because I know we're on a web broadcast here.
Yep.
But the resolution of my original photograph of my subject, and then I'm going to turn on my Nano Banana Pro,
Yeah. The
you can
artifacts
see
get
it's
there
not as
real
good.
quick. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe this is not as important for the background, but for your subject, it's actually pretty important, in my opinion. So
Hmm.
here's a suggestion that I would have to kind of like get this to closer to production ready. Okay, we're just going to go to our background. Let's make this layer invisible real quick. We're going to make the generative layer invisible. We're going to go to the background layer, and I'm just going to go to select subject. So we're going to select the
Oh, that's
subject
smart.
of our background layer, right? It does a great job. This uses AI. This is not going to use any credits. By the way, any selection that you make, even if it does use AI, will not use any credits, okay?
Okay.
Only time credits will be used is if new pixels are being generated. Good to kind of think about it in that way. Okay, so we've selected our subject. Now what I can do is I can just duplicate my background layer. I'm going to click on my layer mask icon. There we go. And then I can just put my subject over top. So what we're going to do basically is I just duplicated my background layer. I put that over to the very top, and then I isolated my subject from a background. I used the layer mask to do that. So now if I zoom into my subject, you can see it's the original subject over top of the generated image. Okay? So you
Absolutely.
can see the
Now,
resolution is much better.
Now we do have a few comments here in the
Great.
chat. We have something coming from Dino asking if the generated credits fully restore every month. Yes, they do restore. They do not roll over. So it's use it or lose it, and then the next month it re-ups. And then Verso, I do see your comment, and we will be sure to take a screenshot of that and put it in our reporting. That way we can report back to the teams and let them know your feedback. So thank you for letting us know that. And we do see you, and thank you for being a part of the chat.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next example here, which is really cool. We're going to be adding some tattoos. Now, our subject looks awesome. She's already got a lot of tattoos on her, but I thought, how cool would it be if maybe like her skateboard, like she obviously loves art and, ink and things like that.
So you want to have a
But her skate
symbiotic relationship with her skateboard.
Yeah, she doesn't have any art on her skateboard. And
Yeah,
also, there's no art on the wall behind her. So
yeah,
I'm like, why don't we just take her tattoos and use that as inspiration to decorate her board and the wall behind her? And this image is just going to be so much more interesting and start to fit her a little bit better, right?
right.
So what we're going to do is a same selection process. I'm just going to select the majority of our image here. We're going to be going to Generative Fill, and we're going to, again, choose our model selector, and we're going to go to Gemini 3 with Nano Banana Pro. Keep in mind, this is going to use 40 credits. All right. And I want to say use the tattoos on the subject. I put three T's. This is like literally my nightmare is typing live.
Yeah. Well, also the other cool thing that I've definitely experienced over the last 2 years, 3 years, is that the ability to have typos when you're talking to computers finally has changed. Because in the 2010s and earlier, if you had any sort of typo, it would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can
Yeah.
essentially punch the keyboard now, and I can like brutally misspell a word, and the computer will be like, "Oh, yeah, I know what you were trying to say." I'm like, "Okay, that's
It'll
better
still
than
know.
humans that I talk to."
Yeah, especially with AI, like I don't even bother saying the right thing anymore. It's making me dumber and lazier. Yay! But basically for this example, I just said like use, all right, I would say use the tattoos on the woman as inspiration to add tattoo art to the skateboard and to the wall behind the subject. Okay. So again, just talking to it like I would a normal person, we're just going to click on generate, and it's going to do this again using Gemini 3, Nano Banana Pro. And I might have you move, Ryan, our heads again over to
Oh,
the
we're moving back
left-hand
again.
side.
All right, yeah.
So,
Before I didn't want to
yeah.
cover up some of her cool
Oh,
some of
yeah.
her cool photo tattoos, but now we're back. We're dancing around.
And I'm going to see if I can zoom into the screen to save you a little bit of work there as well.
Okay, that'd
All
be
right.
awesome.
And that's the result. Honestly, it
Pretty
looks
cool.
really good. So you can see we have really good tattoo art on the skateboard. We have really good tattoo art on the wall here. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in. So I have a little keyboard shortcut that I'm going to try here. There we go. So you can see we've used Gemini. Okay, I'm going to click here and we're going to see I've used Nano Banana Pro as our model. Okay, and don't forget, you can always select your this generative icon here, and you can see it says 40 credits per generation. I think with this zoom in tool, everyone can read that, right? Where it says 40 credits per generation
Yes,
there.
absolutely.
Okay, fantastic.
Also, Marcia
Now,
says you forgot to say "sweetie."
oh, I did forget to space it. Okay, well, hey, check this out. So what we're gonna do is here in my properties window, I'm just gonna adjust my prompt. I'm gonna say sweetie. There we go. We're going to say sweetie in our prompt, and I'm going to hit generate one more time. So this is a, we'll see if it actually works better now that we're talking
If it
nice
works
to
better, I'm gonna eat my shoe because I'm just gonna be like, oh great, now I have to always put sweetie in my prompts.
it. We're going to put sweetie on there literally every single time. But it is cool to know that you can just create as many variations as you'd like, and they all show up on the same layer, and then you can click through them. There we go. And I like this result a lot also. So we have, this is our first result, no sweetie. Second result, I think it's kind of better. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think the sweetie, I think there's something to it.
something there. Nate's also asking if you would use a blend mode with that top layer ever.
You could definitely use the blend mode, Nate, especially like with in this exact situation, because we have dark tattoos, right? And dark ink on the skateboard, you could definitely use a blend mode for sure. Um, this is not a transparent layer, keep that in mind. It
Right,
is like a generative layer. All of these pixels are, you know, are placed on
recreated.
there. Exactly. So if I had these tattoos, if they were black on a white background, I could use something like multiply, and that would definitely be a great way of doing this, especially if you were doing a traditional workflow. But if I were to change this from normal to multiply now, it's going to just multiply everything. So
Right.
this is maybe not so, uh, this wouldn't be the workflow for a generative layer. But if you had tattoos that were just black on a white background, that would actually be perfect.
Now,
Um,
Aaron, I do have a question for you.
yeah.
As an
Yes, please.
expert as yourself, you're
Hmm.
very proficient in all these programs. When you approach your blend modes, I just need to know: have you
Yeah.
reached a place where you like know what all your blend modes are doing, or do you still just kind of like cycle through them like the rest of us?
I will cycle through them most of the time. I have a great keyboard shortcut for you if um let's see. I'm just trying to think of something I could do. Let's go to I'm gonna go to my background layer. Let's do I'm just gonna create a let's go. I'm gonna do layer. We're gonna do new fill layer and I'm gonna go to solid color.
Wait,
Okay,
okay,
I'm
that's
gonna
okay. I
just
do also want to call out something that just changed in Photoshop for you, and it's been driving
I
me a little
know, it
bit
just freaked
crazy.
me out.
It's at the bottom now when you press that button because I do the same exact thing now. So up
They
it's
put it
color
at
and
the
vibrance at the top.
bottom.
Now it's at the bottom. It's even off of our screen. It says
It's
solid
off the
color,
screen.
gradient, and pattern. Um,
Yeah,
but I have to retrain myself that because I have now added color and vibrance to so many compositions because just
yeah.
muscle memory.
I
And it's so
know.
funny. You move the smallest thing, and I get like stress sweats where I'm like, wait, where did it go? Did I forget what I'm doing?
Yeah, I'm like, where's solid color? Okay, I
But it's
guess it's
there.
not
It's
there
still there. It's
anymore.
just on the bottom
It's still
now.
there. It's
So,
just on the bottom of the list. Okay, well,
um, but I do track
whoever
to you
made that
anyway.
decision, I'm curious why you did that.
But okay, so you're adding a color fill here. We added a little bit of red here. It looks like it's adding
Yeah,
it
I
right on the
added some
border.
red here. What I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna go, let's start with this red. I'm gonna use my marquee tool. Let's just lower the opacity. I'm just gonna use this as like a quick demonstration for how I would use blending modes.
No
So
worries.
on the layer mask, I'm going to just invert that and then bring this back up. And then I'm going to go to my background layer. We're going to go to select subject here. And then on my layer mask, I'm going to fill, and we're going to fill that with black too. So this is just like
Okay.
behind my subject. And we're going to put that above the tattoos. There we go.
Very easy halo effect very quickly.
Very easy. And for this layer, so here's my suggestion. It's a keyboard shortcut. So hit V on your keyboard first, which is just go to your move tool. And
Hmm.
when you're in your move tool, you're actually going to be doing when you use controls like 1 through 0 on your keyboard, it'll adjust your opacity of your layer.
Right.
Shift 1 through 0 will adjust your fill of your layer. And if you hold Shift and then click on the plus and minus on your keyboard,
Game
this will cycle
changing.
through all your blending modes.
All your blending modes. Lisa Carney is in the chat saying, over 30 years working in Photoshop, and I still cycle through. I'm often surprised by what I'll get. Exclusion can be so cool.
It
And
can be
Cody
so
also
cool.
agrees.
I love exclusion. I love difference. Now, one thing that is interesting that I didn't really know until kind of somewhat recently is there are actually 8 different blending modes. that are kind of like they're called like the special eight, that they actually work different if you use opacity versus fill. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
Difference is one of those. So if I bring the opacity down for my difference layer, you can kind of see what this is doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you bring your fill down, you can see it actually, can you see it works totally
Yeah.
differently?
It's acting differently, especially with the line work of the wing there. I feel like
Yeah.
it's making completely different outputs, which is interesting to see.
Yeah. So there are eight different blending modes where your opacity, you can see, so opacity around 50%, not that interesting here. If I bring my fill opacity of this down to about 15%, it's a lot more interesting. So, especially if you're going to be using like difference and exclusion, I think vivid light and linear light are the other ones too. But always check out using opacity and fill because it actually really makes a difference.
And then, real quick, right before we move on,
Yeah.
Lisa is saying, "What holy guacamole! I had no idea about the switch funds." But Nate is asking if you could please just really quickly reiterate those keyboard shortcuts for us.
Yeah, of course. So if you're on any layer, you first want to select your move tool, okay? Because if you're on, for instance, your brush tool, you're going to be adjusting the properties of the brush tool. So first you want to make sure you select your move tool. You can click on it or you can hit V for your move tool. And then you're going to hold Shift on your keyboard and click on the plus or the minus on your keyboard. So I'm hitting Shift, plus or minus, and this is cycling through all of my different blending modes here.
Very cool. Very
Great
very
question.
resourceful.
I love this
Um,
keyboard shortcut because I can just look at my image rather than, I don't want to be looking at this and scrolling down here and things like this. I want to be looking directly at my image of like what works and what doesn't work.
yeah. No,
Um,
absolutely.
and then here, I'm just going to do the same thing like we did before. You can see our subject is low resolution because she is generated by this generative layer compared to the original image where she's much higher resolution, right? So we're going to
Absolutely.
duplicate that background. I'm going to put that on the top. We're going to go to select subject. There we go. Fantastic. And I'm just going to put a layer mask on that. So now I have my new subject, sorry, my original subject in all of her high definition glory with my image. And then I'll just paint back the skateboard because
Okay.
it looked like the graphics on the skateboard were included in the
Turned out really
select subject.
nicely, which is
Yeah.
nice. Um,
Kind of cool, right? So, like, you know, I looked at this image originally and I was like, in my Photoshop brain, I was like, let's show people how to remove her tattoos. And then I was like, no,
no,
that's
lean
been done a
in. Other
million times.
direction.
Let's go the other direction. Let's embrace her tattoos. Let's make everything tattooed. And I was like, yeah, that's the cooler thing to do for sure.
That's very
Um,
cool.
yeah,
And
and I
also
kind of
just
like
like
this.
remarkable how quick of a switch and turnaround it is to kind of get this concept. Um, which is previously would have taken much longer.
Much longer. Yeah. And just, it's a good place you can kind of like play around, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
How about we move into our next tool? Do you guys want to jump into some Lightroom real quick? Moving away
Lightroom
from Photoshop.
time.
Lightroom
Let's hop
time.
in.
We're gonna kind of show you this new tool called AI Culling. And for this, I'm just gonna grab some images and just click and drag them right here into Lightroom Classic.
Hmm.
Okay. So AI Culling is honestly so awesome. It uses
So what does that
AI
mean?
to, yeah, so the culling, Culling, it says it right there, assisted culling at the very top. Culling is the process of like choosing the best images of a photo shoot. It's going from many down to few. That's the process of culling. And as we know as photographers, a lot of the time you go out, you take a lot of photographs, and you have some photographs that just are not going to work at all. Like if your subject's
Yeah.
eyes are closed, or if they're not even in focus, or if you have an exposure issue, those images just are not going to work. Like you don't
Right.
even really even need to copy those from your memory card onto your computer because they're going to be absolute no's. You want to use your time deciding between, the good images, what are the best, but you don't really want to spend time with the throwaway images.
Of course
So
not.
AI assisted culling helps you get through your throwaway images, basically. And it'll do that we're going to go ahead and click on assisted culling here. It's going to do that during your import process. So I'm just going to uncheck everything to start off with. And I'm in my import process. You can see I haven't imported anything. So I'm just importing right now from my computer, just on my hard drive into Lightroom. But this would work the same thing if I'm going from a memory card into Lightroom. Okay, so with assisted culling here, I'm going to start by clicking on subject focus. So as I
Got
click
it.
on that, you can see instantly a lot of my images now have this green checkbox telling me that my subject is in focus for all these images. But this image, I have a red X telling me that my subject is not in focus. Well, let's go ahead and double click on this image and we can see,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
the
completely blurred
subject
out.
is totally out of focus. I missed focus on this. It's, you know, the plants are in focus in front of her, but she is totally not in focus at all. And this happens all the time when we're out shooting.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead right here in the bottom. I have this option to include this in my import, and I can just uncheck this. So if this was on my memory card, I don't even need this to go on my computer. I'm going to save
Yeah.
some space. I don't have to deal with it, things like that. We're going to go back to our grid view right over here.
Oh, I'm in the way.
There,
1 second. Let me move us real
that's
quick.
okay. Let's
All
just
right.
double click back
Yeah.
on that photograph.
There
Okay.
we go.
So
Got
for
it.
your photograph, this is our loop view to view your individual images. And here is your grid view, which is going to allow you to view all of your images. You can
Fantastic.
also just check or uncheck this box to import them. Okay. So I basically chose my subject focus as my criteria. And you can even change the slider here to say that I need the subject to be very, very, very in focus, which at 100, even the ones where she is in focus, they're all getting red X's. Or you
Yeah.
can loosen it up a little bit. Right
You
about
can be how
50, I
strict you
think
want it to
that's
be.
exactly. Next, we're going to click on eye focus. And again, everything looks pretty good except for this one. It says my subject's eyes are not in focus. So let's go ahead and zoom in.
Mm.
And maybe they're a little out of focus, but I'm fine with it, you
And
know?
we're also
So
getting a
we're
side
still,
eye too, right?
we're getting some side eye here.
Like, does that go into effect for it? Like, does it if you were to do a bunch of side profile shots, is it not going to be able to recognize the eye in the same way?
Sometimes it will do that. Yeah,
Hmm.
sometimes it will. And this is it's a new tool. You can see it is in early access.
Yeah.
Um, it does a
Oh, and
great
that's not even
job.
necessarily a criticism of it. Just like the
Yeah,
idea of like, I feel like if you're looking for eye focus, I feel like a lot of times
yes.
you're looking for something where it's at least looking at the camera or like looking,
Hmm.
specifically at the subject.
At the
So
subject.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I know right now this works with, I think this only works with people, but I think coming soon it's going to work with pets and animals and things like that, which is kind of cool.
oh, I'm excited to bring you back on stream for that, and we'll just do a whole cat related episode.
Yes, please. So eye focus, I'm not too worried about, but let's check eyes open. I'm going to go ahead and click there. And then it tells me, hey, this photograph, and I can actually, the cool thing is I can actually click on this image. And then here on the top right, I'm going to see my culling scores. So subject focus, I got a score of 71. Eye focus, the score is 74. Eyes closed, it says my eyes are likely closed in this one. So let's go ahead and double click on this one. And we can see that, yeah, her eyes are clearly closed. Very, very clear. Her eyes are
She's
closed.
feeling she's feeling, the
Ah,
lavender, right? She's connecting.
she's in her zone. She's so calm with all this lavender all around her. She's in her aromatherapy mood.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to grid view and I can choose if I want to import this one or not. I'm just going to say I kind of liked it. She did have her eyes closed, but like, she's in the zone. She's feeling the lavender. So what's cool here is you can go ahead and import all these. Now I'm going to click on import and I have all of my images in there. Keep in mind we're -1 because I didn't import the one where she was totally out of focus, right? So we're saving space on our hard drive if you were importing directly from a memory card.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing here is that I can still go into assisted culling in my library view. Okay, so we're going to go into assisted culling, and you're like, okay, why is there two assisted cullings? Well, the first one is figuring out which images actually go on your computer. The second
Hmm.
one, you can actually do some like flags and star ratings and color work with these. So let's say your subject is in focus. That sounds good. Your eyes are in focus and your eyes are open. So We have now, I've checked all three of those. By the way, you can also reject documents and receipts, misfires, and exposure issues. I don't have any of those in this batch, but I can go ahead and see about rejecting some of these. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to where it says organize results. Oh, we might have to move the
Oh, we
our
need to move
faces again.
again.
Yeah,
Always,
sorry, Ryan.
always. No,
Putting you
you're
to
totally
work, man.
good. Keeping me on my toes. Also, if anyone has any questions about these as we go, I do want to take a quick moment to break. We have about 15 minutes left or so. I just
Okay.
want to have a second to pull up our schedule. As you guys see today, we are halfway through the week, and we are on our first show of the day on YouTube. Right after this, we have File Due, which is our design and creator news show hosted by yours truly, and that'll kick you off to that right at the end of this episode. But then after that, we are hopping over to Twitch to end the rest of the day for 2 hours with CA in LA, Courtney and Ashley. They'll be doing some video work. We hope to see you guys all here also tomorrow, all day on YouTube. We've got some TikTok on Friday, and we've got some other YouTube as well on Friday. You can always access this schedule. I try to call it out every single stream, but at the same time, you can also access our Discord, which is a great place to be able to connect with the community, get some links, hold conversations after that, and that is also available in the schedule side of the Discord. So that is linked in the chat and in the description. So anyway, back to you, Aaron. Take
Nice.
it away.
Perfect. So now that we have some criteria in assisted culling, we can organize our results here. Let's just go ahead and click on batch actions. And I could say, this, what would you like to do with the filter results? So everything that is getting a green check here, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
selected, I can make those a pick. Okay. And anything that's rejected, which are these two red X's, I can apply a flag and I could say, give it a reject. Okay. I could remove the photos. I could add them to a collection. I can apply a color label. I can do all this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just say apply the reject flag and hit OK. And
Mm-hmm.
then now I have everything that fits my criteria has a pick flag. And then everything that does not is now a reject in my image or in
Oh,
my
R.I.P.
Lightroom library. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys, you didn't make the cut, but I can always go in and I can click on the flags and
Insert
I
the
can
fact.
change the flags if I
So
want
it's
to.
not destructive.
It's not destructive at all. This is just kind of helping with me with my process of refining many images down to the select few. So,
Yeah.
now I can just say, okay, of these ones, uh, I can take a look at those and choose my favorites. I can take a look at these and choose my favorites. The other thing that's really nice actually is stacking. This is a brand new feature too. I want to mention this. So stacking, you now can use auto stack. You can auto stack by capture time, which is really cool. You can change the time between the stacks. This has
Mm-hmm.
been available in Lightroom actually for a little while, but this is a new one, stack by visual similarity. So I'm going to go ahead and
Oh,
click on
that's
this one,
nice.
and you can do by more or less similar. So this time, if you have a couple different photo shoots that you do, let's say you're in a big, wedding event or something like that, and you photograph everything in the wedding reception, and then you do the ceremony, and you do the dinner, and then you do the dance, and then you do them driving away in the you can stack all that by visual similarity, and it's going to save you a ton of time. You could put those into collections. It's going to make it much easier. So we're going to stack by visual similarity. I'm going to click on stack. And then now I can just use this icon to unstack my images because all of these are visually similar. And let's just go ahead and collapse that again. I can click on this icon and it's going to expand this stack. And you can see, yeah, these three images are very visually similar. We
And
can
they get kind of
expand
collected
or,
together, which is nice.
yep,
Because it's got
or
that
we can,
big purple kind of background. It has like if you're if you were working with a creative director or a client that said like I really like the purple ones, you could easily just
yes.
like pop. You're like okay, these are all the ones that kind of fit within the same mood immediately, and you don't have to go through your whole camera roll, which is nice.
Exactly. So now I have all three of these. I can take a look. That one, her hair's in her face. I can just hit this X here to move out of those. This one versus this one. I like where she's smiling, so I'm going to X out of that. And then this is my favorite of the entire photo shoot. So I was able to stack everything by visual similarity. And I know without having to guess that she is in focus, her eyes are open, and her eyes are in focus because it met all my criteria. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we go from many images down to our few and just get the rejects out of the way early so we don't take up more space on our computer and so we don't have to cycle through them.
Yep. And can I quote you on that? Get the rejects out early.
Oh God. Yeah, Yes, please.
We're
Um,
we're 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 nice to the computers. We're mean to our photos.
oh, sorry. Well, it's a real thing because we go out sometimes and we take thousands of photos. And I don't know
Absolutely.
about you, but for me, usually at least 5 to 10% of those are just absolute no's.
Of course.
And I don't need them taking up space on my computer.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's not even bring them onto the computer. Let's just go ahead and get them out of the way before it goes into my workflow, and it just saves time and space and money because you're wind up doing backups on the cloud probably. So
And also
yeah,
time is money too, right? So like saving
time.
time is definitely a valuable thing. So
So valuable. And speaking of saving time, thanks for my new segue. We're going to
beautiful
jump
transition
into
there.
our next tool using Firefly Boards. And Ryan, I know you use Firefly Boards. You're going to be using it in your next segment.
Yeah.
Um,
But
I
for people
really
that
like
aren't
Firefly
familiar with
Boards.
it, what is Firefly Boards?
It's basically just a way to create it's kind of like Photoshop without any of the tools. For me, I mostly use it for testing out my different AI models, and Firefly Boards has access to a lot of AI models. It's
Mhm.
very, very current, and there are models that are available, not like, for instance, you have Firefly Model 5
Okay,
available in Firefly Boards. That's not available in Photoshop. So
gotcha.
all of your latest models are available in Firefly Boards. And it's just a really easy, it's kind of like a playground, honestly. So
Yes.
we're here in our boards. I'm at firefly.adobe.com/boards. I'm going to go ahead and create a new board.
All
There we go.
right.
So with my new board, it's going to ask me if I want to upload an image. So I'm going to just click and drag an image right here into Firefly Boards, and you can see it's right here on my board. Now I can scroll, I can zoom in and out infinitely. I can scroll infinitely. There's no document boundaries with this board. But I can
Got it.
click on an image. I can click create variations. I can edit this image. I can convert it. I have different presets here on the bottom that I can do. I can do a mashup of different photos. I can do, electric party. I can change the pose of these people. I could remove text. I could make it like a 3D illustration. I could do all these really interesting presets that are fun to play around. But here on the bottom, these are kind of the main two, generate image and generate video. So we're going to go to generate image to start with. And then here, we're going to click on our models. So you're going to see Firefly Image Model 5 and Image Model 4 Ultra and Firefly Image Model 4. If you remember, we were just in Photoshop and I only had access to Firefly Image Model 3 and
Hmm.
Image Model 1, right? But now we have 3 Fast, 4, 4 Ultra, 5 Preview. So we're getting access to a lot of new models. We
And a lot
also
more
look at all these,
flexibility.
a lot of flexibility. Look at these Flux models. Flux Point 2 Pro, Flux Point 1 Context Max, Context Pro, and even with Google, we have Gemini 3, Nano Banana Pro, Gemini 2.5, Imagen 4, Imagen 3. We have the GPT models, Ideogram, Runway Gen 4. So we have a lot of models here that we can choose from. I'm going to choose Gemini 3 with Nano Banana Pro here. And we're going to go ahead and say, describe what you want to create or edit. Now we're going to go ahead where it says, I like here on the bottom, it actually says uses 40 credits.
Yeah.
I would love that if that was built right into Photoshop, into your contextual taskbar where it
Nice
just
and
said
big
how many.
button.
Yeah, a nice big button, and you can like click on it and it actually tells you, a
Right.
little bit more about it. This would be nice if it was built into Photoshop, in my opinion. Maybe it's coming.
Yeah.
But we're going to use an image. I'm going to go ahead and click here, and then we're going to sample this image. Okay. So
Bonus
we're going to
points to
say
anyone
this.
who can identify that city. Does anyone know what that skyline is?
I do not.
Yeah, bonus points in chat. Does anyone in chat know where in the world this photo was taken? I would love to know if anyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is." We're about to completely bulldoze it, but before we bulldoze it, if anyone knows off of just that nice sliver of thing, because it's definitely not New York, Baltimore, or Philly from what
It's
I
not
know,
Chicago.
and it's not Chicago.
No. It
But if
could
you
be
guys know what it is,
Milwaukee.
I have no idea what Milwaukee looks like.
I'm not a Milwaukee expert. I don't know. Could be somewhere in Canada or, you know,
Does Canada have
uh
cities? Kidding. Kidding. Just kidding.
are there some Canadians in the chat?
Yeah, I'm about to get roasted
Um,
in the chat.
you are about to get
Cancel
roasted.
Ryan right now.
No, I have no idea where this is, honestly. But we're gonna say change the background to a mountain scene. Okay. I'm gonna click here on generate. Now, what's cool about this is it's generating right now, But at the same time, I can go ahead and say beach scene and click on generate. Okay. I
Yep.
can say stadium scene and then click on generate. So I'm not having to wait between generations, which is really
Right.
nice. It's
It's
generating
convenient.
all of these at the same time, and I can say whatever I want. I could change models and things like that. I mean,
And
you
every time
have
you hit generate,
unlimited.
it's taking that and it's saying, okay, moving on. And then it's not affecting the things that when you're moving forward. So even if you change the model or whatever, it's not suddenly
Yep.
going to be like, wait. I need to start doing this. Um,
At all.
but
It's just going to be working here in the background. And as we can see,
Clever has also identified it as Germany. So
oh,
apparently
this
it
is
is a German
Germany.
city in the background. So thank you, Clever.
Oh,
Appreciate you. It's
wow.
apparently the financial district of Bankenviertel. So
I'm so impressed on how you got that. It's a beautiful
yeah,
city.
right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're about to turn it into a mountain and to a beach, so I hope you don't love it
Sorry.
too much. Bye.
So we're going to click on this image. I'm going to go to place on canvas, and we're just going to place it right over here. We're going to take
Wow.
these subjects. We're going to place those them on the canvas, and we're going to take these subjects and we're going to place them on the canvas too.
Not them like running like head first towards the water though. Like they're
Yeah.
they're gonna go for a swim.
So what's kind of interesting, and I didn't like specify this very much, but for the mountain scene, it looks great, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, for the stadium scene, also looks good. Subjects are still the same subjects. It's just completely re-rendered the entire image. Like it's a
And look at those
different.
shadows.
Yeah, everything
That's pretty
looks
cool.
looks perfect. It really, I mean, it does look like the original subjects. They're wearing the same clothes. It's just a
Hmm.
completely different camera angle, and they're in a stadium.
Yeah.
And then here we have our subjects running on a beach. Now, if you
Hmm.
liked, this type of image, what's kind of cool is you can go to this vary, and you can say more like this, keep the style. I'm going to say keep the subjects. I'm going to click over here. And this is actually going to create, look at all these different variations that are being created, in real time on the right-hand side based on this image. And then any one of these I can use as a main image. I can make it larger. I can download them, once they're done. So this kind of like a playground of how to use AI. I see this like really handy as like mood boards and mock-ups and getting ideas of what you actually might want to do, for instance, like on a photo shoot.
Right.
Um, there we go. You can see this. We
Whoa, those
created
crazy
all of these
colors.
variations. Look at these crazy colors. We have all these options. I don't like any of them, so I'm going to click and drag on all of them. You can see this uses Firefly. This is using, a few different models here. So I'm just going to hit delete on that one. But I could click on this image and say, you know what? I like this. Let's hit generate. And I'm going to say, give me a, a different camera angle.
Carol wants to know, is that 16 times the credit amount? Do you happen to know that?
Um, that is a great question.
The
What it
variance. I
used
don't know.
is it didn't actually say when I used it, but a lot of that used Firefly. So it's not using 40 credits per image. A lot of those did use Firefly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You can check your balance by going to your account settings right over here and then
Hmm.
seeing how many credits you're actually using. So that's a really good way to check that.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I don't tend to use vary too often. The results are not exactly, yeah, I just don't use that very often. Usually I'll use some of these more advanced models.
Something more a little
Um,
intentional. But I think vary can be
yeah,
good for like, especially if you're, not sure with an approach you want to take, or if you want to like get kind
definitely.
of out of your own way of like approaching something in a way that doesn't, just stay to your old habits. I think that could help break some creative block. But no, I agree. I think being intentional with it is always really helpful.
Yeah, I completely agree. I tend to use a little bit more intentionally. And we have one more example that I want to get into. So I'm just going to click and drag a different photo into the same board that I
Mhm.
really love. Such a cool image. But I was kind of inspired, I wanted to add a little bit of color to this photograph. But
Okay.
when I was adding color, I was like, I could just tell it what colors that I want, or I could have this actually be inspired by, a flag or a real life place. So I looked online Okay, what we're going to do is I'm just going to clear all this and I'm going to change my image out here. Let's just close that. We're going to go to this image here. So I'm selecting a new image. We're still going to use Gemini
Oh,
3
I'm in
with
the
Nano
way.
Banana
I'm in the
Pro.
way again. It's always
You're in the
me. It's
way.
like it's never you. I'm always the one that's in the way. So you press the little eyedropper tool that's underneath the
Yep.
what is now an
Press the
image.
eyedropper tool
Yeah,
right here, or you can just click on your little image icon and select your image there. And you can even crop in to select just parts of the image if you want to.
great.
Okay. So I was like, you know what? This would actually be cool if it was not just me telling it random colors, if this was based on like a flag. And I looked online and it looks like Rwanda is actually like really big into cycling,
Oh no way.
which I didn't know. And I was like, let's make her outfit and her bike and her helmet based on the Rwandan flag. Could be pretty cool.
We're
So we're gonna
getting ready for
say
the Olympics.
change, yeah, of her clothes and bike and helmet to match the flag, make it abstract. And then I'm going to say, please, sweetie.
Please. Also, it looks like there was actually a movement to add bike cross country cycling to Winter Olympics, but they actually said no. So it's still just a summer sport.
Oh,
But next
crazy.
month,
I had no
guys, we
idea.
have the Olympics. Like the Olympics start in like a week and a half or something
Do they really?
crazy closer than any I think any of us are anticipating. So that'll be kind of fun.
Where is the Olympics this year?
Oh man, I know this. Why don't I know this right now? Is it in? No, it's not Italy. Italy was summer. It is in. Da, 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 da.
It's the
Oh, it's
Winter
Italy. Yeah,
Olympics,
it
though?
is. It is Italy. Yeah, yeah,
Is it
yeah.
okay? And it's the
It
Winter Olympics.
and it's the Winter Olympics. Yep.
I'm assuming because we're in winter right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. So they're doing it. They're just going through it.
Am I crazy?
Um, yeah.
Um, yeah, I love the luge. That's always seemed like a lot of fun and super dangerous, but a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
If
that
there's
one's
any
always been
Winter
really cool
Olympics,
for me.
I would want to try that one, and also the ski jump where they just, oh my God, can you imagine?
Oh, this is
Where they
so,
go
we
down
would.
that crazy hill and then they go in the air for like as long as they can.
Yeah. Well, we just lost Behance, but we're still here for a few more minutes. We do have to wrap up. But we're
Okay.
still here on YouTube. But I am interested to see where we get with these helmets and stuff. If you guys are still joining us, right up after this, we have designer news. And we would love to see you there. But let's check out this last piece.
All right, let's go ahead and close these down. And here you can see our results look absolutely fantastic. So these bikes and the helmet and her clothes are now inspired by the Rwanda flag. We had one more that we're going to put on our canvas right over here, and I'll go ahead and zoom in. So this could be
Very
even kind
cool.
of cool if you were, let's say you were designing a bike or a helmet. This did some interesting stuff in the background, but let's say you were designing some clothes, for your riders. This would actually like help you kind of get there. It's some really good visualization. We have a few different options, and I really love the colors of all of these. I think they came out absolutely fantastic. It's just a little bit more fun. The original image was great with this black and white, but let's add some color to our lives. I think I like this one the best.
That's great. All right.
There we
Well,
go.
thank you so much, though. We appreciate you coming on here and
Thanks,
showing us
Ryan.
everything between Lightroom and culling. We did some cool stuff with being able to go through blend modes and keyboard shortcuts.
Yep.
We learned about like being able to sort through filters of like if things are in focus or not. We learned a lot of stuff, and then we hopped over for Firefly Boards. So if you caught just
Yeah.
the end, make sure you watch the replay. Thank you again to Aaron for being here. And make
Thanks,
sure you guys stick
Ryan.
around because I'll be back in like a minute with file new.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.